It almost kind of looks like tree bark or something. And you would never see that with your naked eye. Oh my God. In today's video, we are gonna be getting up close and personal with the skateboard as we look at it under a microscope. You guys are not gonna wanna miss this one. Let's get into it. I'm just gonna very quickly walk you through how I extracted each one of these specimens. Started out with shock pads. This was a lucky shock pad. Grabbed my X-Acto knife, took off a piece. Then I just placed it on the slide. Now I didn't have a pipette, which is kind of like an eye drop thing, so I used the back of the X-Acto knife to just dip in the water, drop a piece of water right on top of the item, and then I grabbed my cover slip. I have like a whole box of these that my wife gave me, which was super cool. Shout out to my wife. So basically, you're just gonna grab one of these, and then I know this isn't a biology tutorial on how to do slides, but if you ever want to do this for yourself, you place it like I am right there, and you drop it at a 45-degree angle, and then it usually sticks pretty well, although it didn't for a lot of mine, but I tried. So anyways, here are all of my slides once I got them all done. They look pretty good. First up, we're gonna check wax out. So let's see what this looks like in the lowest magnification. Oh, that is so cool. It almost, it almost kind of looks like tree bark or something. That's wild. Hold on, let's magnify it a little bit more. It's kind of looks like a cartoon landscape of like New Mexico or something. It's just got like all the different levels of rock, and it's so crazy how like small things can look like giant things. And I mean, it's kind of like the same thing as like when you're looking at a brain, that you can kind of see like the universe in that, you know, what it looks like. I think I'm high or something right now. Wax looks super cool. Let's see if we can get it on the highest magnification. Oh, might need a little bit of adjusting here. Oh, that is so cool. If you were curious what you're looking at and what candle wax is made of, it's made of paraffin, which is derived from the petroleum refining process. Very specifically for skateboarding, we see it in wax, where we wax up our curves and we wax up our grind ledges, so this is what you're grinding through. It almost looks like we're inside of an egg sac and we're just looking outward or something, like we're about to be born. That is so cool, man. All right, let's go on to the next one. Next up, we're going to do wheels. I'm going to start with new wheels, then we'll go to old wheels. New wheels up first. Let's see if we can get this in focus. There we go. That is probably going to be the best view that we can get of it, honestly, just because it's such a dark material. If you don't know, wheels are composed of very small, like stretchy chains of polyurethane, and so it's really hard to see through this on a microscope unless I would have had some sort of tool to shave off like the thinnest piece possible. But essentially, on here at least, it just looks like an island on a weird planet, like maybe Neptune or Pluto or something. Rip Pluto. But yeah, that's pretty much a new wheel. Let's take a look at old wheel and see if it'll look any different. Here comes the old wheel. Let's see what we got here. Okay, now this one looks actually kind of cooler than the new wheel. I wonder if when you skate wheels that they kind of break down that polyurethane, and so that's why we can kind of see it and it's kind of a little bit more porous. I don't know. But this looks really cool. Again, it kind of looks like an island. It almost looks like you're looking from a satellite at an island that it's just showing you like nighttime, so it's showing you like where the light is of where the cities are, and then it's more dark kind of on that northern region. But yeah, so this is really cool. I'm gonna see if we can get any closer, but I'm not sure if we can because it's such a dark material. Let's see. That one is a little too close. I think it's just gonna be dark. This microscope. Let's see. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's adjust this. Oh my god. Okay, that's about as in focus as I'm gonna get it. That looks so cool. It's become a lot more rocky, and like the topography of it is insane. You know what's weird? It almost kind of looks like America, with like a butt. That part right there in the middle kind of looks like a butt, I guess. But so there you have it. That's an old wheel. Let me see if I can kind of move it around. Right here. A little, see a couple peninsulas out there. That is so rad. So guys, that is what old wheels look like up close. So if you got an old, nasty, grungy ass wheel, that's what it looks like close up. All right, let's leave the wheels behind and let's check out a skateboarding. Well, I wrote down washer, but that's not what I meant. What I meant was bushing. Now this is going to be a rubber as well. It's actually going to be urethane. See, this is you know what's funny? So this is a newer bushing that I did for this test. I wonder if I would have gotten an old one, if it would have been as porous as the old wheel, since they're similar materials. I would guess that maybe they would be, but I guess we'd have to do that at another time because I didn't get that as a specimen. But let's back up a little. There we go. So that is basically what it looks like, just kind of a blob. Again, it just looks like, I don't know, an island somewhere. Still looks pretty cool. All right, well, that one was kind of a bummer because it's really just a blob, but that's what it looks like, and I'm sure that what we saw in the wheels themselves are probably what this would have looked like, magnified and porous and close up, but that is the bushings. Let's move on to something that hopefully we can see a little bit more of. Next up, let's move over to the bearing area of the skateboard. Let's check out some bearing spray. Now, I don't know if everyone uses this, but it's pretty helpful if you got some old bearings or you just got new ones that maybe you want to try and make faster. We're gonna see if we can see this liquid. So, I don't believe that this is the bearing spray, unless maybe it is, but I think this is probably just trapped hairs from my dog. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure like these extra little particles in the background are actually what's in the bearing spray. There we go. Okay, so that is the bearing spray right there. You can kind of see it. It almost looks like snowflakes or something. Oh my god, it almost looks like little paw prints too, like a little tiny dog just ran all over this slide. That is very small particles that are in that spray, that are in the oils of that bearing spray. And as you can see, they're basically little snowflakes. Oh my god, look at this, guys. This is like the closest magnification. This is like the first thing I think that we've looked at where we can really see a good magnification of something very small. You can see what these look like. They literally look like snowflakes. They're so small. And you would never see that with your naked eye. Oh, that is so awesome. Look at all these little snowflakes. It's kind of beautiful. It almost looks like little plants too that have been imprinted on rocks, like fossilized. I wonder if all of these are completely different, just like snowflakes are. So cool. All right, let's move on. This was so far one of my favorite ones though. Next, we are gonna look at a bearing shield. As you saw earlier on in the video, this is just a very small sample specimen of a bearing shield. I tried to make it as small as possible, kind of like I thought. This is not really seeable, although it makes a cool shape, but it definitely is too dark to see all the way through. I'll try and switch through the magnifications to see, but essentially this is what it looks like up close. It's just a dark blob. Let's see if we can... Oh, now this looks a little cooler, because you can kind of see the edges. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's a very, very dark material, but it's kind of cool that it thins out on the sides and you can kind of see the light create a spectrum on all the sides of a bunch of different colors. That's actually kind of pretty. This looks like someone's tooth on Thrasher after one of their crazy ass events. And then there's the other side. That's pretty cool. I don't think any of the other magnifications are going to show me anything awesome. Not as cool as our snowflakes and our bearing spray, but I do still like the lighting on the sides. All right, let's keep going. Next, let's look at some clear grip tape, because I feel like grip tape would look pretty cool, and now I'm pretty happy that I chose clear grip tape, since a lot of these dark objects don't show up as well as we'd like to, even though they do cast cool lighting shadows. Oh, this is gonna be cool. Okay, so this is clear grip tape. We're gonna see if we can focus. Oh my god, it almost looks bubbly. That is so gnarly. Look at that. This almost looks like a planet too. Like these are little waterways or like some sort of pencil drawing of like a really advanced pencil drawing of a landscape. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, I did not expect clear grip tape to ever be called pretty by me, but I did it, so here we go. Let's change the magnification. Oh my god, that is cool looking. Okay, so this is probably the best representation of what grip tape looks like way up close. Of course, this is clear grip tape, but I'm sure most grip tapes look pretty similar. Just so you know, grip tape is made from like silicon carbide, or sometimes a cheaper option is aluminum oxide. But essentially, this is a polyester film that's been heated and has had a resin adhesive added. So what you're looking at are these little like crystals on top of this film, and so that's what grips to your shoes. This is kind of beautiful. Imagine what we'd see with like a quantum microscope. We'd probably see so much life like living on top of this that we just can't see with the typical microscopes. Well, there you guys have it. That is grip tape. That I think is another one of my favorites. Let's move on. Next up, we are going to look at a riser, or rather a shock pad. I learned the difference between those two as I was researching this video. I imagine, yeah, this is going to be another dark piece, just like the other rubbers, but still cool. Kind of looks like a turd. As with the wheels, shock pads are typically made of polyurethane rubber, so again, that is why you probably can't see through it, or at least not at this magnification and not with this thick of a strip. But there it is. Essentially, shock pads or risers look like turds under the microscope. All right, let's put it in. So this is trucks. This is the metal. Okay. So kind of like the polyurethane, it's just really, really dark and kind of hard to see, but it makes a way more interesting shape. And I'm sure that's just because I scraped off a random piece of metal, so it was going to come off in some sort of weird shape. But this is pretty cool. It like is a Y, or almost looks like an alien holding a folded up umbrella. Whoa, it almost looks like, oh my god, okay guys, look at this. Okay, this looks super awesome. And you know what, this kind of looks like two people kissing each other. It looks like almost Frankenstein looking character on the left with kind of like grungy hair, and then on the right side more of like a dainty character with like hair up in a bun, or maybe that's like a Flintstones type hairstyle with a bone going through it. I don't know, but this looks really cool. And then of course if you scroll down, they're growing from one. This is getting kind of cute. And then right here is like a weird hand holding some sort of weird spear or some sort of weird stick. Maybe it's a turd again too, I don't know. This is starting to become my favorite one just because of the shape that it created, not necessarily the material of it. Alright, we gotta move on. But that fully lived up to my expectations. Trucks up close, or at least the metal that makes up trucks, are super cool. And actually, this particular truck, I should mention, is a Thunder truck, and so it's actually made with strong titanium, if we wanted to be specific. This is a real, like, metal couple, if you will. Alright, next up we've got the slide that we've all been waiting for, which is what a skateboard itself looks like under a microscope. Now, this kind of wood is made out of 7-ply hard rock Canadian maple, so that is the kind of wood that we are going to be taking a look at right now. And it is pretty dark material, so yeah, it's going to be a little hard to see, but oh man, it still looks really cool though. It actually almost looks like just a regular skateboard that broke in half, and then we're just looking at it under a light. but this is a very super duper small piece, so that is kind of cool. And it is cool that you can kind of see through it. You can kind of see it just kind of like splinters out like wood normally does. So I guess wood splinters just like this, whether it's big or it's small, it doesn't really change. My eyes are hurting.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button. That would be super cool. This video was a little bit more experimental than what I usually create, but I thought that if I was curious enough to create it, that you might be curious enough to want to watch it. Having said that, if you enjoy anything that I do on this channel, I got a bunch of links down in the description below that you should go and check out. I'd also love to hear what your favorite thing under the microscope was down in the comments below, or if you want to see anything in the future, let me know what you want to see. I'm Eric, this is Eric Skateboards. I'm gonna throw a video right up here of something that the YouTube algorithm thinks that you want to watch that I've made previously on this channel, and I'm gonna go get in some air conditioning because it is hot as heck here in Texas. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.